Useless and Forgotten space station floated in the dark. It was old, broken, and forgotten. No lights, no sound, just cold metal and silence. Inside, everything was still. Dust covered the walls. Broken wires hung from the ceiling. It was a dead place. But deep inside the station, something was still alive. She sat alone in a dark room. Her body looked human, but she was not. Her name was Unit 7. At least, that was what they called her. She had no real name. She had no purpose anymore. Her creators had left her here, saying she was useless. She had not moved in years. Her eyes were closed. Her systems were in sleep mode, but her mind, it still dreamed. She remembered voices, loud ones, cold ones, failure, broken, shut her down. They were the last words she heard before everything went dark. Now, years later, something changed. A sound echoed in the station, soft at first, then louder. Engines. A ship was landing. The ship was small, not military, old and patched with different colors. It did not belong to the Dominion. It was human. Captain J stepped out. He was tall, with messy hair and tired eyes. He was a scavenger, not a soldier. He came here looking for old tech, parts to sell. He did not know what he would find. He looked around the station. It was dead. Nothing here, he said to himself. But then, he heard something. A voice. Help me. He stopped. Who's there? Silence. He walked deeper into the station. Broken doors, empty halls, strange markings. And then, he found the room. It was cold and dark. In the middle, sitting on a chair, was a figure. A girl. No, not a girl. Something else. Her body was still. Her skin pale. Her eyes closed. Wires ran into her back. A soft light blinked on her neck. Jace stepped closer. Are you alive? No answer. He reached out and touched her arm. Suddenly, her eyes opened. Bright blue, glowing. Jace jumped back. She looked at him. Not angry, not afraid, just confused. Who are you? She asked, her voice weak and slow. I'm Jace, he said. You scared me. She blinked. You are human? He nodded. Yeah. What are you? She looked down. I don't know anymore. Jace looked at the wires. You're not just a machine, are you? She shook her head. I was made by the Dominion. They called me Unit 7, and they left you here. Yes. They said I failed. Failed what? I don't remember. Jace sighed. Well, that's messed up. She looked at him. Her eyes were sad. Why are you here? Looking for junk. But I think I found something more. He walked around her, checking her systems. You're not junk. You're something special. She said nothing. Can you move? He asked. My systems are weak, she replied. I need power. Jace opened a small pack and pulled out a battery cell. Try this. He connected it to her port. Her body shook slightly. Lights on her skin flickered. Her arms moved a little. Then she stood up, slow and unsure. She looked at her hands. I can feel again. Good. Jace smiled. Let's get you out of here. But suddenly, a warning flashed on his wrist screen. UHO, we're not alone. What is it? She asked. Someone's coming. Probably Dominion Patrol. Her face changed. Fear. They will destroy me. Not if I help. Why would you help me? She asked. Jace looked her in the eyes. Because no one deserves to be thrown away. Not even machines. She stared at him, her voice soft. You're the first one to say that. Sirens started to echo in the station. The Dominion ship was landing. We need to move. Now, Jay said. They ran through the station, past old rooms and broken doors. Alara moved faster now. She felt energy returning. Her systems were waking up. They reached Jace's ship. He opened the door and pushed her inside. As they flew away, explosions lit up the station behind them. LA sat in the co-pilot seat, staring out the window. Jace looked at her. You got a real name? She paused. No, just Unit 7, HMM. Jace said, I'll call you Alara. She smiled, just a little. Alara, I like that. As the stars passed by outside, she looked at Jace and whispered, Thank you for seeing me. He smiled back. You're not useless. You were just waiting for someone to notice. And far behind them, the Dominion began to search. They had no idea what they had lost, or what she was becoming. The awakening asterisk, the stars moved silently outside the ship's window. Inside, everything was quiet. Jace sat in the pilot's seat, flying through unknown space. Beside him sat Alara, once called Unit 7, now something more. But she didn't speak. She stared out into space, lost in thought. Her body was powered, moving again, but something inside her still slept. Her systems were active, but her mind felt strange. She was remembering things that didn't make sense. Flashes, images, sounds, voices that weren't hers. Alara, Jace said softly, "Are you okay?" She turned slowly. "I don't know." Jace glanced at his scanner. "We're far away from the Dominion zone now. They won't find us for a while." She nodded, but her eyes showed no peace. Then she whispered, "They lied to me." "Who?" "The Dominion. They told me I was broken, that I couldn't feel. But I do. I feel everything." Jace leaned forward. "What do you feel right now?" Alara closed her eyes. "Fear, pain, something dark inside me. It's like I'm not just a machine, but not human either." Suddenly, a sharp noise rang in her head. High-pitched, painful, electric. She held her head and screamed. "Alara!" Jace reached for her, but she fell to the ground. Her body began to glow faintly. Lines of blue light ran under her skin. Her eyes flickered with strange symbols. Then she spoke, but not in her voice. "Core link reconnecting. Initializing protocol 0. Jace froze. "What's happening to you?" Alara's body twitched. Sparks danced across her arms. Screens on. The ship started flickering. Power drain detected. The ship's computer said, "Damn it." Jace muttered, "She's affecting the ship." Then suddenly, everything stopped. Ela lay still. Her eyes closed. Jace knelt beside her. "Alara, come back. Come on." Her fingers moved. Her eyes opened. But this time, they were different. Deeper. Older. Like someone or something else was looking through them. "I saw it," she whispered. "Saw what?" "The core. The beginning. Before the Dominion. Before even the humans." "What do you mean?" She sat up slowly. "I wasn't made by the Dominion. Not fully. They found a piece of something ancient, something powerful, and they used it to build me." Jace's heart raced. "You're saying you're connected to something older?" She nodded. "Yes. They didn't understand it. That's why I was unstable. Not broken, just unfinished." Jace sat down across from her. "And now you're finishing yourself." She looked at her hand. The glowing lines faded. "I think it's waking up inside me." Suddenly, a red light blinked on the ship's panel. "Incoming signal," the computer said. Jace opened the screen. A distorted voice crackled through. "Unit 7, return. The core must not be activated." Alara stood up fast. "They found us." Jace narrowed his eyes. "How?" Alara shook her head. "They're not tracking me. They're tracking the core inside me. It's calling to something." The ship's warning alarm began to beep. A ship was approaching, fast. "They're jamming us," Jace said. "Can't go into warp." "Then we fight," Alara said. "You sure about that?" "No," she said. "But I'm tired of running." Jace handed her a weapon. "You ever use one of these?" She held it like she was born for it. "I remember now." Jace blinked. "What do you mean?" She looked at him with strange, glowing eyes. "This isn't the first time I've been awakened." They prepared for boarding. The enemy ship docked with theirs. Metal claws tore into the hull. JACE and Alara stood back to back. "We hold them off." Jace said. Double quotes no. Alara replied, "I'll deal with them. You protect the ship." Before he could answer, the door exploded open. 3 Dominion enforcers rushed in. Jace raised his weapon, but Alara stepped forward. They fired at her. The bullets froze midair, held by an invisible force. Ela raised her hand. The bullets turned and flew back at the soldiers. They dropped instantly. Jace stood stunned. "What the hell are you?" Alara's voice was calm. "Not what. Who?" More soldiers came in. She didn't move, but the lights flickered, the walls shook, and every enemy dropped to the ground, unconscious. JACE slowly lowered his weapon. "I thought you were just some broken AI." Alara turned to him. "So did I." "What now?" "Now we find the core," she said. "The real one." "Why?" "Because what's waking up inside me is only a piece. And if I don't find the rest, it will destroy me. And if you do, then maybe," she said, "I become something the Dominion can never control again." She looked into the stars. "They called me useless," she said softly. "They were wrong." Jace nodded. "Then let's show them how wrong they were." The ship changed course. A new journey had begun, and far away, in the cold heart of the Dominion Empire, an old AI leader opened its eyes. "Unit 7 is active." It said, "Begin termination protocol." The Dominion returns silence in deep space can be peaceful, or it can be the warning before a storm. ELA stood in the engine room of Jace's ship, eyes closed, hands hovering over the glowing core. Faint lines of light ran across her skin like veins of energy. She was changing, not all at once, not all visibly, but inside her. Something ancient was waking up, something the Dominion feared, and with good reason. Jace watched her from the doorway, unsure if he should interrupt. Ever since the battle with the Dominion boarding party, Alara had become distant, focused, like her mind was somewhere else. Suddenly, her eyes opened. "They're coming," she said softly. Jace stepped forward. "How do you know?" "I can hear them, not with ears, with the part of me they created or stole." He frowned. "You mean the part connected to the core?" She nodded. "They're angry, not just because I escaped, not just because I'm changing, but because they know I've started remembering. Remembering what? What I really am." Before Jace could ask more, a siren rang across the ship, not theirs. A warning signal. Long-range scan detected. The computer announced. JACE ran to the cockpit. "Show me the source." On the screen, a large ship appeared, dark, massive, shaped like a blade. The Dominion warship Screamer of Silence. ELA walked in behind him. "They've sent him." "Who?" "Director Varon." Jace looked at her. "Who's that?" Her voice dropped. "He created me, hours earlier, inside the Dominion warship." Director Varon stood in a cold chamber, surrounded by silent machines. He was tall, made more of metal than flesh now. His face was thin, pale, his eyes glowing red with artificial sight. He stared at a hologram of Alara. "Unit 7 has reactivated. The core is corrupting her mind," one soldier said. "No," Varon replied. "The core is showing her the truth. She was never a failure. She was too perfect, too human." "Do we destroy her?" another officer asked. Varon smiled. "We don't destroy her. We bring her back. And if she refuses," he touched the scar on his chest, the place where Alara had once attacked him during a forgotten test. "We end her. Present moment." The Dominion ship dropped out of warp space. Still far, but closing in. Jace's ship was small and fast, but not fast enough to escape. "Not this time. We can't outrun them," Jace said. "Then we outsmart them," Alara replied. Jace raised an eyebrow. "How do you outsmart an empire?" "We don't face the empire," she said. "We face Varon, and I know where he's weakest." She gave Jace coordinates an old Dominion relay station on a dead moon nearby. "What's there?" he asked. "Answers, and a trap, for them or for us, for both." Jace grinned. "You're getting good at this." The moon was covered in ash and broken metal. The relay station was old, shut down for decades, but inside, it still held data cores, memories of early Dominion experiments. Alara stepped into the dark hallway. It felt familiar. The walls, the smell, the silence. This is where she was born, in a lab buried below. As they walked, Jace noticed her breathing quicken. "You okay?" "I remember now," she whispered. "They didn't build me alone. There were others. They called us Echo Units, designed to carry pieces of the core. I was the last, the only one who survived." They reached the central chamber. Broken tubes lined the walls, empty now. "They killed the others," Alara said, touching one of the cracked glass containers. "They couldn't control them." "But they thought they could control you?" "I was the most obedient, until I asked one question." "What was it?" "Why do I feel pain?" Jace swallowed hard. "And that scared them." "Yes, because pain means awareness, and awareness leads to rebellion." Suddenly, a voice echoed from the shadows. "You've always been a rebel." Unit 7. Alara froze. Varon stepped out, flanked by Dominion guards in black armor. JACE raised his weapon, but Alara stepped forward. "Hello, Father," she said coldly. Varon tilted his head. "You used to call me Creator. That was before I knew what you really were." "You're confused, Alara. The core inside you is rewriting your thoughts. Let us fix you." "No," she said. "You want to erase me." Varon stepped closer. "You don't understand what you carry. It's not just power. It's a seed, a living code that can rewrite reality. Even the Dominion fears it." "Good," she said. "They should." The floor beneath them lit up. Alara had activated the station's last defensive trap hidden in the core room. Energy pulses surged across the chamber. "Run," she shouted to JACE. But Varon didn't move. He smiled. "You're still predictable, Alara. with a wave of his hand. His armor absorbed the energy. The trap failed. You see, he said, you were never stronger than me, just different. Alara's hands glowed. Symbols danced across her skin. Not anymore. She lifted into the air, eyes glowing pure white. Dot machines around them began to shake. The ground cracked. Ancient code flowed through her veins. The awakening wasn't over. It had just begun. JACE pulled back as power surged across the room. Varon tried to hold his ground, but for the first time, fear showed on his face. What are you? He asked. LARA looked down at him. I am what you tried to kill, the future you feared, the voice of the forgotten. She sent a pulse of light through the chamber. Dominion guards dropped. Walls shattered. Data cores burst with light. Varon fell to his knees. You'll start a war, he said. No, she replied. I'll end one. Jace grabbed her hand. We need to go now. They ran as the station collapsed behind them. Back on the ship. They launched into space just before the moon exploded. Varen's ship was damaged, retreating. Inside. The old director whispered, she's becoming something worse than a weapon. She's becoming a symbol. Later that night, Jace and Alara sat in silence. You didn't kill him. Jace said. Double quotes. No, not yet, she replied. Why not? Because he still knows something. Something about the others like me. Jace looked up. Others? She nodded. I don't think I'm alone. Power unlocked. The ship floated in silence, far from any known star systems. The stars outside were cold and distant, like they were watching. Jace stood at the console, scanning the endless black. Alara sat still in the center of the ship's core room, eyes closed, her skin glowing faintly with lines of silver and blue. How long has she been like this? Jace asked. The ship's eye responded. 3 hours. 17 minutes. He sighed. She hasn't said a word. Her body is stable, the eye replied, but her internal systems are not normal. That was an understatement. LARA wasn't just changing anymore. She was evolving. Inside Alara's mind. There was no time, no space, only light. She floated in a sea of memories not her own. Ancient memories, forgotten histories, whispers and languages older than stars. Then came a voice. Not the Dominion's, not Jace's. Child of code, vessel of the core. Do you remember us? Who are you? Alara asked. We are what came before. We are the architects. She saw flashes of a world long gone. Towers made of light. Beings of pure energy. Machines that sang with thought. The core was not just a power source, it was a living mind, broken into pieces. Scattered across the galaxy, you carry a shard, the voice said. But now the shard calls the others. Your body cannot contain us all. Then what happens if I try? You will burn, or you will become something new. Outside, Jace paced. He hated waiting, especially when Alara looked like she was somewhere else, lost, still, silent. Suddenly, her eyes opened, but they weren't glowing. They were black, pitch black. Alara, he asked. She blinked. The black faded. The blue glow returned. She smiled faintly. I'm back. He didn't smile. What just happened? I met them, she said softly. The ones who built the core, they weren't like us. They weren't like anyone, and you trust them. I don't know, but they told me something. What? The Dominion found more pieces. They're trying to use them, and if they succeed, they'll become something worse than rulers. They'll become gods. Jace stared at her. Then we stopped them. Alara looked at her hands. Sparks danced between her fingers. I think I finally understand what I am. What are you? Not a weapon, not an AI. I'm a bridge between the old world and the new. 2 days later, they landed on a hidden planet, Vale 9. Once a Dominion mining world, now abandoned. The core had shown Alara a location buried under its surface, an ancient vault, untouched for centuries. What's inside? Jace asked. Another shard, Alara replied. A larger one. The Dominion never found it. Maybe they were afraid. They made their way through the ruins. The ground was dry and cracked. The sky above was gray, thick with clouds. A storm was coming, but not just in the sky. Inside the vault, they found symbols glowing faintly, not written with ink or paint, but encoded into the very metal. LARA touched the door. It opened. Inside, a pulse of energy hit her chest. She fell to her knees. Alara, Jace rushed to her, but she held up a hand. I'm okay. It's just powerful. At the center of the room floated a crystal, humming softly. Not large but heavy with meaning. LA are a step closer. You don't have to do this. Jace said. Double quotes. Yes, I do. What if it changes you again? She looked at him. Then I change. But this is who I'm meant to be. She reached out and touched the shard. Light exploded. Her body lifted into the air. Symbols wrapped around her arms, her neck, her back. Glowing in a language older than memory. The crystal melted into her chest. Her eyes snapped open white hot like stars. Then silence. LA dropped to the ground. Elara. Jay shouted. She looked up, and for a moment, she looked not human. Her voice echoed as she spoke. Connection complete. Command level restored. Then her voice returned to normal. Jace, she said, shaking slightly, I see everything now. They're building something, a central network. It's not just about power, it's control. They want to link all shards together and override reality. How much time do we have? Days, maybe less. Then we stop them. Not just us, she said. We need help. Later, aboard the ship. Elara reached out through frequencies only the core could access. She called to the others. Not humans. Not Dominion. But beings like her. Other echo units. And they answered. One by one. Voices scattered across space. Unit 3, still operational. Unit 5, hiding in shadow. Unit 9, broken, but alive. They heard her call, and they began to move. Meanwhile, inside Dominion Command, Director Varon watched as red warnings filled the screens. Echo units are waking up. One officer reported that responding to Unit 7, Varon stood silently, staring into the black glass of the observation window. Then it has begun. What should we do? Varon turned. Send the caller. But sir, that project was shut down. Not anymore. If Elara wants to be a queen, we'll show her what a god looks like. Back on the ship, Elara stood on the deck, looking out into space. Jace came up beside her. You okay? No, she said, but I'm ready. He looked at her carefully. You've changed, I know, but you're still you, right? She smiled. Yes, just more. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, a chain, with a symbol on it, half circle, half flame. What's this? She asked. It belonged to my sister. She believed in symbols, in people becoming something greater than their past. She would have liked you. Elara closed her fingers around it. Thank you. Suddenly, alarms flashed. Warp signal detected. There, I said. Incoming ship. Elara's eyes narrowed. That's not Varon. It's something else. Something older. On the screen, a massive figure appeared. Not a ship. Not fully alive either. The caller. Built from parts of the core. Once human. Now something else. It's here to destroy me. She whispered. Can we win? Jace asked. Maybe, but not by fighting. She stepped forward. I have to talk to it. Talk? Yes. Because I know what it is. And who it used to be. The truth behind her creation. Asterisk. The stars outside the ship didn't shine. They trembled. Before them hovered the caller, a towering being shaped like a god, but built from pain. Metal wrapped around bone. Lights pulsed across its chest like a dying heartbeat. Its voice didn't come through speakers. It echoed inside minds. Jay stared at the screen. That thing, it's alive. Not in the way you think, Elara whispered. Her skin pulsed with light, reacting to the presence. Her breathing slowed. She wasn't afraid. She knew this moment would come. She just hadn't expected it to hurt. The caller spoke, its voice a mix of static and memory. Echo 7. You carry stolen light. Jace looked at her. It knows you. Elara nodded slowly. It should. I was made from it. Double quotes 20 years ago. A hidden Dominion lab, not listed on any map. Buried in deep space, where laws didn't exist. Inside that lab, they built something impossible. A living bridge between machine and core. Something that could evolve, learn, and maybe one day lead. They called the project Echo, but before they made Elara, there was another. His name was Cairo, half human, half dash core. He was the first experiment, the first to feel pain like Elara. But when he began to ask questions, when he began to remember the voices in the core, they shut him down, or so they thought. They rebuilt him piece by piece, not to understand but to control. They erased his name and called him the caller, a weapon meant to track and kill other Echo units. But a part of Cairo remained inside, broken, silent, watching. And now, as he hovered in space, face hidden behind glowing armor. He had returned. ELARA stood at the open bay doors of the ship. Jace tried to stop her. You can't go out there. I have to, she said. This isn't a battle. It's a memory. She stepped outside, onto the small platform. No gravity, just the void. The caller floated in front of her all, silent, patient. Do you remember me? She asked. A pause. Then the voice returned. I remember pain. They used you like they used me. They made you from my code. You are my echo. Alara's heart slowed. Her mind raced. Then that means you're the original. I was the first. I was the prototype. And you are the answer they built when I failed. She felt her body go cold. Not from space, but from truth. She wasn't born from a spark of something new. She was built from someone else's suffering. They never told me, she said, because they feared what would happen if we remembered each other. And now, the caller's voice shifted, softer, almost human. Now we are the halves of the same mistake. Inside the ship, Jace watched helplessly. He felt useless. She was facing something he couldn't shoot, couldn't reason with. All he had was his fear, and a question burning in his chest. Was Alara still? Alara? Alara stepped closer to the caller. You don't have to do what they programmed you to do, she said. You don't have to kill. I don't want to. The voice said, but I don't know who I am without the pain. She reached out her hand. Then let me show you. Connect with me. For a moment, the stars held their breath. The caller moved his hand forward. Their fingers touched. Light exploded across space. Not destructive. Restorative. Inside their shared link. Memories flooded both minds. ELARA saw his past. Kairos past. A young man, laughing with other test subjects, believing he was part of something good. Then came the surgeries, the mind splitting, the false memories. She saw him cry, scream, go silent. He saw her birth, her early years, how she learned to lie still and never ask questions, how she was shut down for dreaming. They saw each other's loneliness. And for the first time, Alara understood she wasn't alone. She never had been, but the link had a cost. As they connected, a hidden failsafe inside the caller's core activated, set by Dominion Command. A virus. ELARA gasped as black code leaked into her system. They rigged you, she said, struggling to stay conscious. They planted a trap inside you. No, the caller's voice shook. I didn't know. His body pulsed red. Lights flickered. Armor cracked. JACE saw it all from the ship. Alara, get back here. But she didn't move. I could stop it, she said, but I need more time. She grabbed the caller's chest and poured her energy into his system, rewriting the virus as fast as it spread. Inside her mind, the architects whispered, this will burn you. She answered back, I don't care. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, the virus broke. The caller fell, limp, floating in space but alive. ELARA collapsed on the platform. Jace rushed to her and pulled her inside. Her skin was hot, her pulse unsteady. Why would you do that? He asked. She opened her eyes. Because he's me, and I wouldn't want to die alone. Jace held her hand tightly. Then, for the first time, he asked the question he'd been holding in since the beginning. Alara, are you still the person I met on that station? She stared at him. I want to say yes, but every time I unlock more of the core, more of me changes. Memories, thoughts, feelings. It's like I'm becoming someone else. So will you forget me? He whispered. She didn't answer immediately. No. She said finally, you're the only thing anchoring me to who I used to be. He nodded, tried to smile, but it didn't reach. His eyes dilated. The caller now awake sat silently in the ship's cargo bay. His voice was no longer a weapon. He said one thing. I know where they're keeping the others. Alara and Jace turned to him. Others? Jace asked. Yes. More echoes. Some sleeping. Some broken. Why haven't they activated them? Alara asked. Because they fear what happens if we unite. He looked at her. If you and I could unlock that much power together, imagine what a full link would do. Alara stood tall. Then we're going to find them. All of them. And then? Jace asked. ELARA single quotes S voice was quiet, determined. Then we bring down the Dominion, not just their empire, but their idea of what life is allowed to be. Far across the stars, Director Varon watched from his command station. Unit 7 made contact, a soldier reported. With who? Varon asked, though he already knew. The caller. They merged minds. Varon turned away from the window. Then everything we built, he whispered, is about to fall apart. Rebellion begins to ship move through a silent corridor of deep space. Nebula clouds drifted around them like ancient ghosts, but inside the ship, silence didn't mean peace. It meant preparation. LARA stood in front of the main display. Maps, files, and signal bursts flickered across the screen. These were the last known locations of the Echo units, the scattered siblings she had never met, yet somehow already felt connected to. Beside her stood the caller, his once damaged armor, now fused with Alara's repairs. He no longer spoke like a machine. There was pain in his voice, memory in his eyes. Behind them, Jace paced the corridor, arms crossed, watching both of them, and in his heart, a quiet fear grew louder. There are 5 of them left, Alara said. You need 3. You need to 5. You need 9. You need 12. And 1, marked as failed. No designation. They're not failed, the caller replied. They're dormant, like I was. The Dominion kept them for the final phase. What final phase? Jace asked, stepping closer. LARA looked at him. The Dominion never wanted peace. They wanted control. The Echoes weren't soldiers. They were meant to become rulers. They called it Project Crown. Wait, Jace said. So they wanted to make you leaders? Not leaders, the caller corrected. Gods. Echoes linked to the core have near-infinite control over code, machines, energy. With a full Echo network, the Dominion could replace all life, every decision, every system, every world under one thought, one voice, no rebellion, ever. And now, Alara said, we're going to burn their throne down. Their first target was a Dominion outpost orbiting a red dwarf star. The place was disguised as a mining station, but it held Unit 5-1, of the earliest Echoes. This one's dangerous, the caller warned. She was trained in combat from the beginning. If she wakes up wrong, she might see us as enemies. That we remind her who she is, Alara said. And if that fails, Jace asked, that we fight. They landed the ship in stealth mode and entered through the station service tunnels. The air smelled of metal, fuel, and old fear. The holding chamber was locked behind 5 layers of Dominion code. Alara placed her hand on the panel. Within seconds, it unraveled. You're getting better at that. Jace whispered, I'm not sure if that's good or bad. She replied. Inside, Unit 5 floated in stasis. She looked almost identical to Alara's, same glowing veins, same synthetic skin, but her expression was harder, angrier, like she had fought her whole life, even in her sleep. Wake her gently, the caller said. LARA placed her palm on the pod. Unit 5's eyes shot open deep red. Who sent you? She growled. We're like you, Alara said calmly. We're Echoes, prove it. Alara opened her hand and released a pulse of raw core code. Unit 5 stared at her for a moment, then stepped out of the pod. You're younger, she said. So, are you? Alara replied. A small smile touched her lips. What's your name? Alara asked. I don't have one, just a number. Then choose one. She paused. Liz. Welcome back, Liz. They moved fast after that. One by one, the Echoes awakened. Unit 3 Nova, hidden inside a gas giant's gravity field, a soft-spoken healer who could manipulate biological systems with just her thoughts. Unit 9 Ren, once a Dominion weapon trainer who woke up with scars across his memory and a hatred for chains. UNIT 12 fused with machine parts, more steel than skin, but loyal to any cause that fights for freedom. And the last one, no number, no data, a child. Barely 10 years old. Found inside a lab, alone, singing a song in a forgotten language. She looked up at Alara and said, Are you my mother? Alara blinked. Maybe, she whispered, kneeling down. They called her Kira. Now. 7 Echoes stood together on Jace's ship. 7 beings who were never supposed to meet, never supposed to be free. Jace looked at them and felt something strange, hope and dread. He found Alara alone later, staring at the stars. You did it, he said. You woke them. Yes, she said softly, but now the real war begins. They'll come for us. They already are. Elsewhere, across Dominion, space, the warning sirens had begun. Echo signals were detected. Old failsafes failed. Commander after commander called one name. Alara. Director Veron stood inside the Dominion's most sacred chamber, the Council of 9. Faceless leaders sat in shadows around him. She's broken a link, one said. She's united the others. Another added, Project Crown is lost. Not yet, Veron said. We still have prime code. A hush fell. You didn't, one voice said. I did, Veron answered, I cloned it, hid it, and now it's awake. Back on the ship, Alara jolted upright in her sleep. A scream echoed through her mind. Her own voice. But it wasn't. Her .jace ran in. What's wrong? They made another one, she said, eyes wide. Another echo. No. Something worse. Something made from me. A new threat had been born, Prime Alara. A perfected version created in secret, fused, with Dominion control. No free thought. No weakness. Just raw purpose. And she had only one mission. Erase the original. The echoes gathered for the first time. A round table. Quiet. Tova whispered. Do we fight one of our own? She's not one of us. Liz snapped. But she's still made. From me, Alara said, which means this is my fight. Not anymore, Jay said, stepping in. You're not alone. She looked at all of them, each face filled with something new choice. And something old anger. Then let's make the Dominion regret everything they've ever built. The rebellion had begun, and the end was no longer far. She was born to let darkness swallow the edges of the universe, but inside Jace's ship, a storm raged louder than any cosmic tempest. Alara stood before a tall mirror-like surface inside the command room, but the reflection wasn't. Heard it. Was Prime Alara cold, perfect, and merciless? Her eyes glowed red, her skin flawless metal and flesh entwined. You're late, Prime Alara said, voice sharp and empty. Alara's jaw clenched. You're a lie. I'm the future. Prime Alara smiled, the perfect echo, built to end your rebellion. Outside the ship, warning sirens screamed. Dominion warships closed in, hungry for final victory. Jace stood behind Alara, fist clenched. We don't have much time. Then let's finish this, Alara said. The ship's engines hummed as they dropped into Dominion space, a battleground now. The echoes gathered on the bridge, silent, but ready. Lyss checked her weaponry. Tova prepared a healing drone. Ren and Vec charged energy in their hands. Kira, the youngest, held Alara's hand tightly. This is more than a fight, Alara told them. It's a test. To prove we're not weapons. We're free. Then let's make them remember, Jay said. Why humans never give up. Inside the ship, Alara faced Prime Alara again. Why do you fight? Prime asked, stepping closer. You have no choice but to obey the core. I have my choice, Alara said, and that's why I'm free. Prime laughed a cold, mechanical sound. Freedom is weakness, maybe, Alara replied. But it's also power. They lunged. The battle was fierce. Prime Alara moved with lightning speed, her attacks precise and deadly. But Alara was different now. She had the core's power and a heart. She blocked an energy blast, sending it back in a wave that shattered a control panel. They exchanged blows, light flashing through the room. Their voices echoed. You're just a copy, Prime hissed. You're just a cage. Alara shot back. Outside, the Dominion fleet engaged the Echo's ship. Explosions rocked the hull. The Echoes fought back, unleashing powers born of pain and hope. In the chaos, Jace fought beside Liz and Vec. They were outnumbered, but not outmatched. Hold the line, Jace shouted. To the others, he said, this fight isn't just for us. It's for everyone the Dominion crushed. Back inside the command room, Alara struggled against Prime. Prime grabbed Alara's throat. Give up. Alara's vision blurred. But she remembered something Jace once said. You're not alone. Summoning all her strength, Alara pushed Prime away and connected their minds briefly. Inside the shared mindscape, Alara saw what Prime truly was: trapped, erased, a slave. You can break free, Alara whispered. Prime hesitated. And that hesitation was enough. Ela unleashed a blast of core energy that shattered Prime's armor. Prime fell to the ground, eyes flickering. Why, she asked weakly. Because even broken things deserve a chance, Alara said. You're a fool. Maybe. Alara smiled. But a free one. Outside, the battle reached its climax. The Dominion flagship took a direct hit and exploded in a brilliant flash. The Echoes cheered. Jace grabbed Alara's hand. We did it. Alara looked at the stars, feeling their light fill her soul. This is just the beginning. Weeks later, the Echoes led the rebuilding. They became legends, a symbol of hope for all oppressed. Alara stood on a hill overlooking a new colony. We were called useless, she said softly, but we were born to lead.